friends, it's Tracey and Violet. She's right here from Tea Time with Tracey and Violet. It's the morning time. It's just around 8:30. I'll turn the kitchen light on. Wasn't really planning on doing a video this morning, but I want to get at least one more video out on this channel before the end of the year, and it's New Year's Eve today, and I am going to be so busy today. I'm cooking for a great big feast. And not that I'm having a big crowd, because we're not allowed to have big crowds, but I do have 11 people living in my house right now, so I have to cook big anyway, so why not make it extra big today so I won't have to cook for the next few days. We usually have, I say Chinese, it's not Chinese, it's like, I live in very rural Nova Scotia. It's bumpkin, eclectic, Asian-inspired, countrified buffet. I'm making beef and broccoli, chicken balls, a chicken curry, fried rice, regular rice, egg rolls, some sort of noodle dish, a whole bunch of stuff. That's what I do on New Year's Eve. Since it's morning, I'm having my coffee. I just wanted to quickly go over the books that I read this month. And that way I can get this video up hopefully today. Hopefully, I hope you all had a wonderful holiday season if you celebrate the holidays. If you don't, I hope you had a wonderful December. It's all good in the neighborhood. I haven't been able to post like I wanted to post. Okay, toy knife. This month it's just been so busy. My eldest daughter and her fiance and my grandson are home for the month. And just all the kids are home from school. For those that don't know, I have 6 children. And there's only so much I can do and pull off the holidays and try to make sure everybody has a good holiday, sort of thing. So I couldn't get as many videos done. I've read some books. I still haven't caught up on doing the videos for the books that I read in November. But I will eventually. I'll get around to it. I will. So I'll show you the books that I read this month. And eventually I'll get around to doing videos once everything kind of slows down a little bit. But the book I finished last night was this one by Tim Levin, Berserk. This is like a horror book. It's 337 pages long. Took me a couple days to read. And I quite enjoyed it. It was the first book that I read of Tim Levin. I know the last video I posted was a book haul, and I had filmed that back in the fall. I just scheduled it to post like yesterday or the day before or something. I got a book of his, Cold Brook or something like that. Anyways, I read this one, and it's I found it was really good. It's kind of older. I'm just seeing when this was posted, when this was like 2006 or something. I mean, it's not old. Yeah, well, anyways, this is about, yeah, January 2006. About this middle-aged family. Well, they're in their 50s, this husband and wife, in England. In my mind, when I first started reading this, I thought this was in the States, but it wasn't. It's in England. So, this couple, they had one child. He was in the military, and he was declared dead in a friendly fire exercise 10 years ago. So grief-stricken, God, after 10 years, they're still going through the motions and questioning because everything seems suspicious. Anyways, the husband, or the dad, gets a little bit of a hint that things didn't go quite as expected. So on the 10-year anniversary, the married couple go down south. It's still in the UK. It's in like the Wiltshire area. I don't know if that's a real place or not. I don't know. Anyways, where the moors and the plains and things are. They go to remember their son, and when the wife is sleeping, the husband goes out with this map that he was given to try to find where what he thinks is a mass grave. And he digs and goes crazy. And this is all like very in secret. It's all fenced off, not supposed to be there. No, 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 no. And lo and behold, after digging down and digging down, a little hand grabs him. This little hand is chained to a bunch of dead corpses. And that's all I'll say about this. But you can see, creepy child. She's 10 years old. And berserk. So I read that one. And I would recommend it. It's not scary. It's not. It's just an interesting tale. I'm not saying these in any particular order. I did just finish that one last night, though. Another one I read, because I seen a few people talk about this. Not a whole lot of people, but Vita Nostra. And I don't really know what to say about this one. This is a translated work. And this is about a young girl. Her name's Sasha. And she's an only child at the beginning of this book. Here comes my grandson. What are you doing, Bob? Hugging. Anyways, it's just her and her mom at the beginning of this book. And they're on a vacation. And
I love you.
I love you too. You go watch your shows, hon. They go on vacation. And it's near seaside. And she's approached by this strange man. It sounds really bizarre. Strange man. He has sunglasses. And he asks her to do these very strange tasks. Like swim out to this buoy naked at 4 o'clock in the morning. And back and do that 5 times in a row at 4 o'clock in the morning. And each time she does it, she spits up these gold coins. Like she throws up these gold coins. These gold coins are used to get into some sort of a school or university or something, and it goes really bizarre. Okay, Violet and Abby. Violet, come here. Smarten up. Would you smarten up? Anyways, I can't say I really enjoyed it. I did not enjoy it, but it was just, it seemed to switch from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. Super fast. Just a minute. There, I have her locked. I shut the gate. She's not hurting. It's just he's little and she bumps him. She doesn't mean to hurt, you know, knock him down or anything, but... Anyways, yes, it jumps around and it spans over a couple of years while she's at the school. And it's really kind of hard to get a grasp on exactly what they're doing. She kind of physically transforms and mentally transforms. And it's all about shifting and transcending perspective and abilities. It's not really superpowers, but it's like turning into words. It's just... I don't know. And I think there's supposed to be another book. I don't think I would bother. Not that it was bad. It was just... Some people were blown away by this book. And I can see why. It just wasn't my style of book. It was like... Almost if you took a bunch of mushrooms or some acid and tried to read an encyclopedia and make a story out of it. Like, that's what this is. And... Not that I'm saying do that. Don't do that at all. But I'm just saying. Anyways, I'm glad I read it because some of the videos I've seen on this book, they were like, woo, this is my new favorite book. And I'm just like, oh, I never even heard of this book. I need to read this book and see what it's all about. It's interesting. It's strange. That's all I can say. It's by Marina and Sergei Dachenko. Translated by Julia Maitoff Hersey. Yeah, where are they from? Well, Mariana and Sergei are a former actress and a former psychiatrist, are co-authors in 30 novels and numerous short stories and screenplays. They were born in the Ukraine, lived in Russia, and now live in the United States. Their books have been translated into several foreign languages, awarded multiple literary film prizes, and recipients of the award of Best Author Eurocon 2005. Yeah, it's interesting. Didn't blow my mind. It was just like, what? Okay. All right, I'm done. That's it. It was all right. Okay. I did get a video on this. I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. Didn't really care for it that much. It wasn't bad, but it was like, it did not live up to the hype at all, in my opinion. If I think of it, I'll put the video down below if you want to see my 2 cents on it. Yeah, it wasn't that big. So I picked this one up because it's not very big, like not very long. And I thought, oh, I can just rip that off. And, you know, it's about, it starts off with the girl, her point of view. She's driving in a car with her new boyfriend of like 2 months. And she's thinking of ending things. And it proceeds to go through her experience with him over that time. And it's kind of burnt. So that's my thoughts. This was a reread for me. 1 second after. I read this last year on Audible. Like, I listened to it, and I got the hard copy, or not the hard copy, paperback. And this is by William R. Forstchen. I don't know if you say that right, if I'm saying that right. Foreword by Newt Gingrich. Whatever. But I was really into end of the world things, and I'm starting to get back into them. And if you've been watching for a while, you know, I've got quite a collection of, you know, apocalyptic, dystopian kind of things. So I wanted to start off with this one too. I reread this one in paperback this time, and it was just as good as the time I listened to it in Audible. When I did it in Audible, I wasn't on YouTube, or not this channel anyways. But this is about a North Carolina town, Black Mountain or Black, something like that. It's like, it's on a mountain, this little, fairly well-to-do town. And an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, nuclear one, somebody set it off above the United States and Canada mainly, you know. But this follows this little town, this professor at a little well-to-do university who was ex-military strategist, and his family. And he's a single dad. He has a fairly nice home, but one of his youngest daughter is diabetic. And an EMP, if you are not aware, it'll knock out everything with a circuit. So no, it's not just like losing power. Like your car won't start, nothing will work. Your digital watch won't work. Nothing. So if you rely on a water pump or water getting into your house, if you have an EMP, you don't get water coming into your house. You need to go lug some water and things like that. But when you think of it on a grand scale, like in this book, which this is kind of a book that is more terrifying to me than something that's supposed to be a horror book. It follows in a year, like what happens to this little town. So you can think at first, you know, the first month, people realize that there's a food shortage. The most susceptible people that are going to die are really heading that way. Like people in nursing homes, people with disease. And remember, his daughter is diabetic and requires insulin, and insulin needs to be refrigerated, and etc., etc. So it's quite something, and it's quite eye-opening. I really enjoyed it. I have the other 2 books, 1 year after and Final Days. I'm going to read those. But I will do a video on this sometime, and I would recommend it for sure. So that one. All right. Now, my last wrap up, I said I was starting to read Cressley Cole's Immortal After Dark books again, because she's having a new book come out January 25th, Monroe, and I'm so excited about it. And she hasn't had a new book out since 2017, I think. So I've been rereading. And I think my last wrap up, I read the first one, I forget what it's called, and then No Rest for the Wicked, Lachlan and Emma's story. And then the next one, I believe, is No Rest for the Wicked. I've read all of these books several times over the years. There's some of them that are more of my favorite, but I wanted to try to read all of the books before Monroe comes out. Now, this coming month, I don't think I'll read all. I'll just pick out some of my favorites until that one comes, because I just won't have time to read them all. I forget. There's like 15 books in her series or something. But this one is about Katerina the Cold and Sebastian Roth. If you've watched my other videos, the very first book, Violet's here eating her breakfast. Sebastian Roth is a forebearer vampire. He was turned. He was human turned. He's one of 4 brothers. And so he's the male character in this. He's a vicious war soldier kind of thing. Katerina the Cold is a Valkyrie who hunts vampires. She even has strings of vampire teeth hanging around her bedroom. She's vicious. And she doesn't feel emotion. Like, she's cold-hearted. She's cursed to not feel emotion because whatever. And she's on the hunt for vampires. Come across Sebastian, and he's the only one she could never shoot. She doesn't like him, but for some reason she can't shoot him. And then these two, she's on a quest. She's taken part in this big tournament to go around the world to find these ancient artifacts. And whoever, like anybody from the lore, can take part in this tournament, and whoever wins this tournament gets a medallion that can do anything, turn back time or something. And for vampires, they have fated mates, and Sebastian realizes that Katerina the Cold is his fated mate, so he follows her around, and she's always trying to get away from him. And anyways, it's their tangled mess of a life, and it's delicious. So there's that one. This is one of my favorite ones. I really love the Lycan books. If you know, you know. Wicked Deeds on a Winter Night. This one is about Bowen and Mariquita, the Awaited. She's a witch. He's a werewolf, Lycan. Doesn't turn right into a wolf. And that's not what they do, but anyways, again, this takes place during this tournament that Katerina the Cold is in. It's kind of all the same timeline, but Mariquita and Bowen they don't know each other at the time. At the beginning of this book, they're in part of the world trying to find one of these artifacts that they have to get to win this whole tournament. And they're in this cave down in South America, I think. And anyways, Mariquita, she's only like 18, 19. She's just young. And she hasn't gotten into her mortality yet. Like, she'll be immortal eventually, but she hasn't got there yet. And anyways, Bowen comes. Mariquita's in this cave. There's a few other contestants in this cave. They're friends, but they're not working together, but they're allies kind of thing. They're not trying to hurt each other. Bowen, on the other hand, he's a selfish son of a gun at first, because he really wants to win this tournament, because he really wants to go back to do something that'll make his life a million times better. And he ends up locking Mariquita and these other contestants in this dangerous cave until he gets back to his home base. The tournament's not over, but he gets back to his home base and finds out everybody on the good side of the lore, like Mariquita's locked in there. She hasn't went into her or immortality yet, and the whole lore is watching Mariquita, or Mary, because something is fated to her, and she's supposed to do something big when she's in her immortality, like something real big. And anyways, oh, it's good. There's so much. I could talk about this book. This book, yeah, one of my favorites. Absolutely. I love it. Love it. And then this one, Dark Deeds at Night's Edge. This one I haven't read as much. Reread, you know, so much. But this one is about Naomi and Conrad. He is Sebastian's brother. There's four brothers, and he again is a forebearer. He was turned into a vampire against his will, He's probably the crazier out of the 4 brothers. And he's being contained in this house that is haunted by a phantom or ghost, who is Naomi. Nobody else can see her. And you wonder, how can a love story develop between Naomi and Conrad? But it does. I'll be right out, Bub. I just have the gate shut so she doesn't bug you. She's eating her breakfast. So anyways, that one. It is a good one. It is a good one. Just not as one of my favorites. So, that one. Okay. I did listen to A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I've read that a few times in my life. Okay. Heavy. But I listened to it on Audible this year, and it was narrated by Tim Curry, who, yeah, and it was good. It was really short. It's like 3 hours or something like that. Did a fantastic job. I've never actually listened to that on Audible, and it was free on my Audible anyways. So I read that one. I also read one ebook. It was like a novella. It was Lisa James' Echo. It was way back when I started this channel. I read a duet. Well, no, it's not really a duet. It's a series, just 2 books in it so far. The Fated Mate series. There's Descent and there's Divergence. I forget. But Lisa James' Fated Mate series. And at the end of the 2nd book, I'm just like, oh, there's got to be a 3rd book. There has to be a 3rd book. Like, it kind of lays the groundwork for a 3rd book. Turns out it's a novella, which is disappointing. I don't care for novellas as much, but I was like, I have to read it because I read the first 2 books. And it takes place between Amelia and Leon. And I'm not going to really talk about that too much because you kind of get their build up in book 2. And it's delicious. And it could have been a huge book. But the novella was good. It's a cross between, I guess there's characters from Vibe, another series that she wrote. I think it's called Vibe. I've never read it. But some of the characters from that cross over into this novella, which I had no idea when I read it. But then after, just before I did this video, I looked it up on Goodreads just to refresh because I read this way back at the beginning of December. And, oh, they were like, oh, the crossover between these 2 characters and this, and it's just the perfect combination, which I don't know because I didn't read those, but I read that. It's not super long. There's only 8 chapters. It was good. It was good. Like, I recommend that series for sure. And then I did start one ebook and I didn't finish it. Not that I wouldn't finish it. I just ran out of time and I ran out of, it's not one of those books you have to get back to. I was trying to read a Christmas book, but it was a reverse harem one. If you don't know a reverse harem, it's one lady and 3 or more people. And it's called The Christmas Package by Casey Cole. And it's good and I would finish it. I'm not as fond of ebooks unless they really grip me. And I can't read it now because Christmas, I wanted to read it right. It's still Christmas time. I still got my Christmas tree up, yes, but I'm not going to finish reading this, but it was okay. I read maybe a quarter of it, maybe half of it. And it's about this young woman. She gets surprisingly dumped by her boyfriend, kicked out, and all her stuff's in garbage bags. She works at this big fancy department store, and she has to go and hunker down there for a couple days, hide in the store and live there. And the security guard, she didn't know there was a night security guard, has been watching her. There's another guy. There's just, it's okay. It's okay. I like mine with a little more edge, a little more danger. But it is a Christmas love story, kind of reverse harem. It was good, and I might finish it, but I'm not finishing it now. I'll just put that in my back pocket until maybe next Christmas. I don't know. And I believe that's everything that I read. Oh no, it isn't. I went crazy last night trying to find the book. I read 1984 by George Orwell. I had the paperback. I don't know. I turned this house upside down. I must have packed it away with my Christmas stuff. I say my Christmas tree is still up, but I put all my Christmas stuff away. I don't know where the heck that is. I did read it in paperback, and I've never read it before. I think some people have to read that in schools. We never had to read that in school when I was in school, but I wanted to read it. So that was kind of a dystopian novel too, and I kind of knew about it before going into it, but it really was absurdly controlling in that world. Holy cow. The thought police and the words you use and the suspicion and the punishments, like capitalism to the extreme. Wowzer dowser. So I did read that one too. I'll probably talk about that again in a video, but I'm sure a lot of you already know this story. Big Brother, thought police, you know, like all that sort of thing. Yeah, it's quite disturbing when you really pick it apart and look at, yeah, that's a terrible way to live. Terrible way to live. But anyways, that's what I read this month. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a half, because I didn't finish that Christmas package. So I didn't get as much reading in as I had the past couple months, but I think I did pretty good for a Christmas month. So, all right, guys. Yeah, I will have more videos coming out this January. The kids are supposed to go back to school January 10th. My daughter, fiance, and grandson go back January 7th. Violet, you're staying in here. And I can hopefully get some stuff done. Not that I want all this to end, but you know, it's hard to get videos done. So I got some cooking to do, Lucy, and all that stuff. So I'm going to say peace, love, and happiness today and every single day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you so choose. But if not, that's okay too. I still love you. I still want all the happiness in the world for each and every one of you out there. I certainly do. I really, really honest and truly do. Yes, I do. So, all right, guys. So again, this is New Year's Eve. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's Eve, whether you're one person, 2 people, 20 people, or whatever the amount of people you're allowed to have in your home. We're allowed 10. I have 11 living in my house, but that's okay because they actually are living here, so I got a crowd anyways. But all right, guys, let's bring on 2022. So have a good night or have a good morning, and I might see you tomorrow. Bye. Bloop.